Welcome back, class, to Lecture 6, Video 4, which is a continuation in our Learning Theory series. In this video, we're going to discuss the relationship between difficulty and failure. Juul has discussed the importance of failure as part of games in his book, The Art of Failure. You can follow him and his work through the link on the PDF. His work highlights the supposed paradox of failure as 1. That we generally avoid failure in life. 2. That we experience failure when playing games. And 3. We seek out games, although we experience something that we normally avoid. So, the underpinning idea of this paradox is that we appear to want something that is unpleasant. Juul first links this to tragedy as a narrative form. We seek out stories that evoke negative emotions, but the idea is that this provides a form of catharsis. We cleanse ourselves of negative emotion as a result. But failure in games does not do this. Failure creates frustration, feelings of inadequacy, defeat, or humiliation. And the fact that we fail does not cleanse these negative emotions. So something else is going on. Just one angle to this is the idea that failure is part of learning, and learning is an experience that we do crave. Level design involves creating scenarios in which the player does feel adequate, as this sets the challenge to learn a skill and learn how to solve a puzzle that will make them feel empowered. So here we can see the similarities between Kolb's experiential learning cycle and Juul's cycle for failure and learning, which is on page 60 of his book. In Kolb's cycle, it starts with 1. A new experience of situation is encountered, or a reinterpretation of existing experience. In Juul's cycle, this is a new goal is introduced. The second is that you're reviewing and reflecting on this experience, looking for inconsistencies between experience and understanding. And in Juul's, failure presents the player as inadequate. 3. A new idea or modification of an existing idea is formed, which in Juul's is the player searches for the failure cause and improves. And 4. The learner applies this idea to the world to see what happens, which in Juul's is the inadequacy is now gone in the player and the player has a new skill. We're now going to talk about designing for failure. As a designer, you need to figure out when and where your players will fail. How do you control for the player's emotional response? How do you ensure that they're not left frustrated or angry? And how do they learn from failure and then proceed not to fail? Extreme difficulty can be a desirable objective for you as a game designer. This can be in line with classic Nintendo hard games of the NES era, or old school difficulty, or more generally for contemporary hardcore games, or rage games. I'll embed a link a short video from Markiplier below to illustrate. But other games such as Super Meat Boy, etc. strive to elicit a rage response in the player. I'm going to give you a quick language warning for that video. In this example, consider how simple mechanics are taught to the player through rapid failure within the level design. The outcome with such games is meant to be hilarious frustration. So, Juul identifies that difficulty, including extreme difficulty and repeated failure, is not bad in itself. It's all about the perception of fairness. The punishment should not be so extreme that the player perceives it as unfairness. Bear in mind the flow channel. Are players being unduly punished in your game or level? Think about the difference between old school games and modern games. Can you think of any changes in design language that have happened to reduce the sensation of undue punishment? Unless, of course, that old school difficulty is a core part of that game's design. I'm now going to assign you task 13. The first part of this task is to view Jolie Menzel's 2016 GDC talk, which I'll embed and leave a link to on the My Learning space, on solving puzzle design. This is an exploration into the creation and refinement of puzzles to improve the player experience in a given level. Please take the time to watch this video if you can. The next part of your task is to have a look at Learn to Play, which is Matthew White's book on tutorial design for video games. It's an excellent source of designing game levels with player learning in mind. This ebook's available for you to access through the reading list on my learning space. For your practice, I'd like you to be considering how players learn what to do through your level design. You should be playtesting with peers. Observe what people do, don't intervene, and document what is and isn't working. This documentation of testing should be evidenced in your submission. So that's everything for this week's lecture videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.